Let's be honest, facility management can be chaotic, right? It often feels like that's just the default setting. Well, today we're going to take a look at SentrixFM. It's a platform that claims it can swap all that chaos for some serious control and intelligence.
So let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Are your facility operations really under control? I mean, when you picture them, do you see this perfect, well-oiled machine? Or is it maybe a little more tangled?
Yeah, for a lot of folks, this is the reality. You've got this messy web of different tools, spreadsheets all over the place, and what happens? You get inconsistent processes, you can't see what's actually going on, those are your blind spots, and maybe the scariest part, especially for bigger companies, is that you risk data leaking between your different brands. Not good.
Okay, so all of this chaos really boils down to one central issue. We're calling it the facility management disconnect.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? You're stuck in this trap. On one side, you have your simple spreadsheets, but they're a recipe for inconsistency and mistakes. On the other side, you've got these super complex, over-the-top workflow tools that are so difficult to use, your team just doesn't. So no matter which way you turn, your productivity takes a hit. It's a classic lose-lose situation.
All right, so now that we've laid out the problem, let's talk about the solution. How do you fix this disconnect? Well, that's where a unified platform comes in.
And this is exactly what SentrixFM is all about. It's designed to be that single source of truth for your entire operation. Think about it, funneling everything, from the big picture planning all the way down to the tiny daily tasks and compliance checks, all into one place. No more jumping between systems.
And when we say everything, we really mean it. This is way more than just a work order system. You've got your maintenance management, you've got comprehensive asset tracking, location management, there's even a visual workflow designer and a smart AI assistant built right in. The goal here is to give you the complete picture, not just a little piece of it.
But here's the thing that really sets a platform like this apart, especially for bigger businesses. It's not just about the bells and whistles. It's about how it's built from the ground up. Let's dig into security and scale by design.
Okay, so the core idea here is a concept called multi-tenant isolation. Now, I know that sounds super technical, but stick with me, because the idea is actually really simple and, honestly, pretty brilliant. Imagine instead of all the companies using a platform living in one giant open-plan office, each company gets its own private locked room. That's what this is. Each company's data is stored in its own dedicated database schema, so it's literally impossible for data to leak from one company to the next. It's just built that way.
And this comparison makes it crystal clear. Look, the typical SaaS model is on the left. Everyone's sharing resources, and there's always that nagging risk of data spilling over. But on the right, you see the SentrixFM approach. Each company gets its own dedicated space. The risk of leakage? Gone. It's not just better security, it's a completely different level of enterprise-grade isolation.
And it doesn't stop there. They add another layer of security, but this time it's inside your own company. The system makes sure that a team working at, say, location A can only see the data for location A. They can't see what's happening at location B. It sounds simple, but think about how many cross-site mix-ups and errors that one little rule prevents. It's huge. Okay, so we've got our data locked down tight and perfectly organized. Now let's get to the fun part. How does that solid foundation power intelligent workflow automation?
So at its heart, the platform runs on this really clean four-step loop. First, you plan. You actually design your workflows visually, kind of like building a flowchart for how you want things to get done. Next, the system takes over and schedules everything automatically, like all your planned maintenance. Then it executes, turning those plans into real, actionable work orders for your teams on the ground. And finally, you measure. You can track everything in real time. It's this continuous cycle of plan, do, check, improve.
But here's what's really smart about this. The system understands that not all work is created equal, right? For your big, complex, repetitive jobs, you use that visual workflow designer to make sure it's done perfectly the same way every time. But what about when a pipe suddenly bursts? You don't need a complex workflow for that. So for those urgent, one-off tasks, you can just create a work item instantly. It's got the flexibility for both strategic planning and tactical emergencies.
And you know, these workflows aren't trapped inside the system either. This thing connects with over 300 other apps, so you can automate all sorts of things, like automatically sending a message to a Slack channel when a task is complete, or kicking off an official approval process in a different piece of software. It plays nice with the tools you're already using.
All right, all the tech is cool for sure, but the real question is, does it work? What are the actual results? Let's talk about the proof, the ROI.
Let's start with some hard numbers. One client, Enterprise Property Group reported an 18% reduction in overdue maintenance. Just think about that for a second. That's a huge deal. It means the system isn't just a glorified to-do list. It's actually helping people get their work done on time, which is the whole point.
Next up, 3 times faster. They were processing work orders 3 times faster. That's the kind of speed you get when you ditch the clunky spreadsheets for automated workflows that actually, work.
And here's the one that always gets everyone's attention: the money. We're talking over $2 million in savings annually. That's what happens when you start optimizing the lifespan of your assets with smart, proactive maintenance instead of just reacting when things break.
This customer story really ties it all together, doesn't it? Look, there's that 18% drop in overdue maintenance we talked about, and see this? Cross-site errors completely eliminated. That's that location security feature at work. And a 25% boost in compliance? That's because the system's guided forms basically make it easy to do things the right way every single time. So why does all of this matter? What's the big picture? It's really about a fundamental shift in how you think about facility management. It stops being just a line item on a budget, a cost center, and it transforms into a strategic part of your business. It becomes an asset that actively drives efficiency, ensures compliance, and directly adds to your savings. Look, if there's just one thing you take away from all this, it should be this. SentrixFM is about unifying your operations, yes, but the crucial part is how it does it, on a rock-solid foundation of serious security and real-world scalability. And it really brings us to the final question, the one you have to ask yourself. We've seen what a unified platform can achieve, so the question isn't what does it cost to implement. The real question is, what's the cost of doing nothing? What is the price you're already paying in lost time, in compliance headaches, and in all the things you just can't see by not unifying your operations?